Admiral, thank you so much. It is great to be here in Hawaii. We started the morning with some Navy SEALs doing PT. We made the decision that we were gonna, everywhere we go, we're gonna do PT with the troops. Because I remember kind of doing that back when I was a soldier. It started as PT with the troops. It has become smoke the SecDef. Green Berets did it to me out in Germany, and the SEALs did it to me this morning. So we got a great start, a beautiful Hawaii morning. I'm glad to be able to speak with the APCSS Alumni Network here in Waikiki and across the Indo-Pacific, and as was mentioned, around the world. It was also very intentional that this was our first stop to the region as part of this very important messaging. But first of all, thank you so much, Susie, for your leadership. 30 years is quite an accomplishment, and for hosting us on this beautiful morning. And again, thank you to Admiral Paparo for his reputation. His leadership precedes him. He's well known in Washington for all the right reasons, and we have our fighting admiral here in the Indo-Pacific. Appreciate your leadership. I'm honored to speak this morning in the Stackpole Auditorium. It was really neat to do research on this before coming here. Named after Lieutenant General, as you all know, Hank Stackpole. He was a remarkable human being. He was a Marine, a Vietnam combat veteran, the first commander of U.S. Marine Forces Pacific, the first president of APCSS, a fellow Princeton grad, and an American hero. During one of his several tours in Vietnam, General Stackpole, then a captain and a company commander, was struck by an enemy .50 caliber bullet. While being evacuated, his medevac helicopter was shot down. Imagine, I've been wounded, I'm heading out, everything's going to be okay. Now it's not. He was the only survivor among 9 men on board. He crawled out of the wreckage 70 feet before the helicopter exploded. A second helicopter took him to a field hospital where the chaplain read him his last rites. And then he made a miraculous recovery. He earned the Silver Star, fittingly, for his bravery that day. General Stackpole retired in 1994 after nearly 40 years on active duty, but then he continued serving his country, as so many do. In 1998, he became the first president of this organization, and he helped build this institution into the intellectual powerhouse that it is today. Even just seeing the photos in the hallway on the way in that you showed, the reach of what this institution does is critically important. So I would like to give a special thanks to his wife, Mrs. Vivian Stackpole, who is here with us this morning. Ma'am. Thank you to you and your husband for your decades of serving together, particularly here in the Indo-Pacific. As every military family knows, no warrior serves alone. There's always a family alongside who oftentimes, sometimes have an even more difficult job because you don't really know what your loved one is doing, and yet you support them all the way, as you did. And thank you to the audience around the world for the opportunity to speak with you about how the Department of Defense views this region. This is my first time addressing military and civilian leaders in the Indo-Pacific as the Secretary of Defense. Many of you graduated from our premier forum for studying the Indo-Pacific and for building ties among national security leaders who are engaged in this region. Our relationships and our teamwork form the foundation of achieving peace through strength. President Donald Trump has made it clear that we will achieve peace through strength through an America First approach. But America First does not mean America only or America alone, ignoring allies and partners. It means that our military-to-military relationships must make sense for the United States and for our friends. Where there are imbalances, we will fix them, we will find them, and we're going to fix those imbalances. We will right-size the obligations and responsibilities needed for modern deterrence and defense, which is a large part of the conversation the Admiral and my team had yesterday. In some cases, it will require even greater attention to the partnerships that matter the most. And our alliances and partnerships in the Indo-Pacific matter a great deal to the United States. They matter because the Indo-Pacific is the region of consequence. I've tried to demonstrate that with calls to Australia, Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, India, Thailand, Singapore, and many others in my first days as Secretary of Defense. I specifically, and our team directed, those are the folks we want to call first to send the signals of where our focus will be, to establish peace through strength. And with this first trip to the Indo-Pacific, and there will be many more, I'm making stops in the Philippines and Japan after a stopover in Guam as well. But to reiterate, I'm here today because the President has given me, and the American people gave him the mandate to achieve peace through strength. And we're going to do that in three ways, as the Admiral mentioned: restoring the warrior ethos, rebuilding our military, and reestablishing deterrence. By restoring the warrior ethos, U.S. forces assigned to the Indo-Pacific will be the best trained and best equipped in the world. We've seen great signals in the Pentagon as well, with recruiting numbers at historic levels across the forces, as America's young men and women are responding to the leadership of President Trump and want to serve in record numbers in uniform. And we know our opponents are taking notice. Number two, we're going to rebuild our military by optimizing the Department of Defense and the U.S. Defense Industrial Base to rapidly and responsibly deliver the right tools to our warfighters in real time. And we will also deliver those tools rapidly and responsively to our allies and to our partners. There are many opportunities for our defense industries to collaborate. And I'm going to press hard to expand capacity and accelerate deliveries. I can tell you every Minister of Defense and others that I speak to brings up foreign military sales and our ability to deliver those capabilities front and center in those conversations. I was recently with the Commander-in-Chief, who reiterated that as a priority of his from the White House. FMF, FMS, the opportunity to get systems in the hands of our allies and partners is a priority of this administration that we're focusing on at this moment. I know this center has also been focused on supply chain security for our weapon systems. When you look at the charts and you understand where too many things are sourced from, you understand the complications that come with that reality. You've also been studying how we can co-produce and co-sustain our platforms and munitions with partners who choose to work with us. So, Susie, please keep up the great work. We need it. It is more important than ever. And finally, as we reestablish deterrence, our charge is simple. We will work with our allies and our partners to deter the communist Chinese and their aggression in the Indo-Pacific. Full stop. By standing shoulder to shoulder with you, our allies and partners, we will put our enemies, our adversaries, those who stand against us on notice. Each ally, each partner, each friend contributes their own unique capabilities to regional deterrence. A renewed focus on deterrence creates advantages for ourselves, our partners, and our allies. And it also does this while creating dilemmas, which is a lot of what we talk about, dilemmas for our adversaries. Our mission is to deter war. But if necessary, we will together defeat and destroy our enemies. None of this is new. This is the business that we are in. President Trump's vision for a free and open Indo-Pacific is as true today as it was when he first laid it out in Vietnam in 2017. It's a vision in which all countries prosper side by side as sovereign, independent states. It's a vision in which the United States remains engaged with and invested in and focused on, truly, the Indo-Pacific. It's a vision in which our allies and partners are at the forefront of deterring aggression. To paraphrase the president, I say to all of you who are here with me today and listening from around the region, we have been friends, partners, and allies for a long time. And we will remain friends, partners, and allies for a long time to come. But we need each and every one of our friends and partners and our allies to do their part as well, to be force multipliers alongside the United States of America. That has to be a two-way street. So let us today, through this institution, through our work at Indo-PACOM, recommit ourselves to that. Recommit ourselves to reestablishing deterrence in the Indo-Pacific and to achieving peace through strength by working together, building credible warfighting capabilities, and by doing our part for the peace that we all long for. In closing, no one should question the resolve of the United States of America to defend our interests in the Indo-Pacific and beyond. We will do this through the deterrent power of the strongest, most effective, most lethal fighting force in the world. And that is something this administration is committed to in every capacity. Just last week, I was in the Oval Office, standing next to President Trump when he announced the new sixth-generation fighter, the F-47. The most capable, most lethal, longest range, most stealth fighter jet the world has ever seen. I said to him, and I say to you now, I believe my kids and my grandkids will thank him for having the willingness to make that choice and invest in a platform of that strategic significance, which is needed specifically in this part of the world to continue to maintain deterrence. I hope, and I believe that message was sent. Supported by and in partnership with capable, like-minded allies and partners, I believe the 21st century, this century we live in right now, can be and should be and will be an American-led, freedom-loving century. That is truly what is at stake. So it's great to meet so many of you here in person and even many more watching virtually online. I want to thank you for what you do. I want to thank you for your time, and I wish Godspeed always to our warriors. Thank you very much.